Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel Insights with Mukovhe Alsbie Liphadzi. Today I am not alone. As you can see, I am joined by Londolani, Tshanwani.
Thank you.
Ria.
Yes.
Just to get it out there, because if you leave Ria out, you're making a big mistake. So this is Ria.
Yes, you are right, hey? That's very important.
It's very important. She really loves her child, and her daughter is so adorable.
Oh my god.
She is so cute.
Yeah. Oh, my Ria, my princess.
Yeah.
Everything. You know that girl, no? She means the world to me. I think I am what I am today because of her. Yeah. Okay, we'll explain that
as we go along.
Yes.
So today we are going to talk about losing Mpho Regalo. As a nation, as a country, we lost a singer, we lost a gospel artist. He touched so many lives. But for Ria, she lost a partner, she lost a best friend, she lost the father of her child. She basically lost her world. So today we are going to be talking about that. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. You just took me back, hey?
Yeah,
yes, especially because yesterday was I was finishing the 4th year without him. Yeah, so it just took me back a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like every time around the 9th of May, it's always quite
difficult, but
time.
it's getting better with time.
Alright, let's get down to it. Okay. So first of all, I'd like you to tell me about your upbringing, your childhood. What was that like? Where were you born and where were you bred?
I was born in a tiny village from a family of 6. It's just that my father passed away last year. Was it last year? Yes. I have a twin brother. His name is Londolani. He stays in PE. He works in PE. I have a younger sister, Bonani, and a younger brother. I stay with them, Mpho Reglo. I stay with them in Midrand. And my mother, who's in Venda, I can say she's Ria's best friend. Yeah, because Ria can't survive without my mother.
Yeah.
So they stay together in Venda. So yeah, I grew up from a Christian family. We started going to church from the youngest age. So I am a born again Christian from the youngest age. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, so you being born from a Christian family, you go to varsity, and that's where you meet the love of your life. And I'm sure when you met him, you're like, oh, he's a Christian and he can sing. For me, that's a bonus. If I get a guy that can sing, he's a Christian, he goes to church, it's everything.
It's good that you haven't read my book, you know. Actually, it's not even like that. When I met him, he wasn't even a singer.
Really?
I didn't even know, you know. He was just this simple guy. Not even attractive. I remember the first time he approached me. Actually, I was at Mangosuthu. We met at Mangosuthu in 2007. I was going to study there. So I was registering. I was with my vendor. Can I say friends? Yes, my vendor friends. And then I was done because I was still a new student. Then he came. I was standing in this other corner, busy with my phone. And then he came and then he greeted me. And I remember his first words, you know, I'll never forget them. He said, "Hello, ma'am." And then I looked at him and I responded, "Hello." And then he asked me my name and I told him it's Londo. Then he realized that I'm Venda. Then we started speaking in Venda. I looked at him, you know, I was like, who's this guy? Okay, you know, he doesn't even look, you know, Venda guy, village guy, and you can see where he's in village. There was nothing attractive about him. I didn't even know that he could sing, you know, all those things. It's just that we started having a conversation, and then the conversation was kind of like interesting, and then we ended up exchanging numbers, and then from there he was sending me a message telling me that it was nice meeting me later. And then after that, then we started spending a lot of time together. And then when we were spending a lot of time together, that's when I realized that actually Mpho is a good singer. Because I remember the first song he sang for me, it was it's even in my book, you know. I still remember all these things. to show that he wasn't that romantic, you know, even though we were still charming each other. The first song that he sang for me is No Other Name by the name of, you know, a gospel song, not even a love song. But that's when I was like, wow, the day he sang for me, I was like, wow, you know, because when we were spending time together, I mean, getting to know each other, there was nothing. I used to look at him, I used to just see a simple guy, you know. I never thought a voice like that it
could be there.
Yeah, so the day, you know, I was like, you know, I even recorded him on my phone. I just wanted everyone to hear this beautiful voice. Yes. So when I met him, yeah, he wasn't a singer, he was just a simple vendor guy from Mukovhe village. That's it.
And what I like about Mpho is that he was full of so much humility. I remember I met him at Corpus Christi when they were having an event, and he was setting up everything. He had so much humility. I was like, is this the celebrity that is going to sing today? Because he was so humble. And I loved that about him. What are some of the things that you loved about Mpho?
That's one thing. Mpho was humble. Mpho was a successful guy, I'm not gonna lie. Who was doing so well career-wise and these, you know, purpose-wise, I can say that, you know, but most of the people used to ask me, what kind of guy is this who, he's a celeb, but when you meet him, when you talk to him, like you can relate to him, you can, you can even, you if you want to ask something, you don't even feel scared because it's someone that you can even talk to. That's one thing that I learned from him. Even today, with doing what I'm doing with this thing of my scars, my testimony, you know, one thing that I always remind myself that I learned from him is to be humble. That's why, Mukovhe, when you approached me also, I remember, you know, you touched my heart when you told me that you were praying, that you were praying that the day you'll approach me, I will just say yes. You know, I was so humbled. But I to me, it wasn't about Mukovhe, I don't even know her, you know. It was about what you want to do with me. It was about giving you a chance. It was about giving myself a chance also. So that's one thing that I learned from him. You know, if I wasn't humble, I wasn't even going to listen to you. I was going to tell you, you know what, I'm busy. Okay, I'll see you.
Maybe I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you.
Yes, but it's something that I learned from him. And another thing is love and support. Mpho used to support his friends, and also, I don't know, you know, even when it comes to this thing of helping people with jobs and everything, I'm not gonna lie to you, Mpho used to help a lot of people. And he was that kind of person that you could, as I've already explained, the way he was humble, he was that kind of person that you could talk to about everything. Right now, as I am, I have a lot of people, Mpho's friends, who most of the time, if they are doing something very important, they will always call me and tell me, you know what, I really wish Mpho was around because he was going to make this function or whatever I'm doing more beautiful. And then I remember the other time I didn't go and attend this other event of someone who was close to Mpho. You know, that person called me, and then he was like, you know what, you really helped me because I thought you were gonna come and represent Mpho because, you know, Mpho had that, you know, that Mpho's heart was full of love, and I just wanted to see you. That's when I was gonna see Mpho through you. So I am so happy because you didn't attend. So Mpho was that kind of person whereby even though he's not around, people still want to have him. Yes, people still want to. And I'm so fortunate, I'm so, you know, I'm grateful because most of the people, they want to draw something from me. And then which means that most of the people, when they look at me, sometimes they see Mpho, and I love the fact that I learned a lot from him, and I told myself that I'm gonna continue, and just, I don't know, not be him, but always represent him.
Yeah, that is so powerful because sometimes I also miss Mpho. Like, I was a big fan of Mpho. I remember when we went to the concert and he was performing his live recording, and he performed like he knew it was the last. Like, I remember we were there and we were like, oh my gosh, Mpho Rufura, we are satisfied. We are satisfied. Like, we didn't want more. We're just like, it is enough. Like, he gave it his all. And even when he's gone, we still remember him and we wish just one more song, one more.
You know, I always tell people that I wish he can just come back for one day.
Just one day.
You know, I have a lot to tell him. Only one day, you know, so that I can tell him about a lot of things, especially about his daughter.
Yeah, tell me about his daughter. Tell me about when you guys first found out you were expecting the child, your reaction.
I remember it was 2011 December. Okay, there was a time I thought I was pregnant. Okay, everything is in the book now.
Everything is in the book.
Yeah, I thought I was pregnant, but I wasn't. We were kind of like disappointed, but we didn't really talk about it, you know. We were just disappointed. And then December, that's when I think I was home for December holidays. I was feeling funny, you know, and I could feel that I was pregnant, you know. And then I think it was after I missed my periods also. Then I told him, but because the first time we thought I was pregnant and I wasn't pregnant, when I told him, he was like, you're lying, you know. He didn't believe me. Then he was like, you know what? The way he was so supportive and everything was like, you know what, I'm gonna give you money, you're gonna go to the doctor tomorrow and then confirm. And then I went to the doctor and then the doctor confirmed that I was pregnant. I remember calling him, telling him, yo, he was so happy. I'm not gonna lie, he was so happy, he was so excited. But he didn't believe me, you know. I had to send proof to him, or you know what, I'm really pregnant. And me, I was mixed emotions, you know. I was excited at the fact that I was gonna have a baby with someone that I love at least, you know. But I was scared. Because, you know, my mother and father, they got married, white wedding, before having children, you know. So I was like, oh my God, it's such a disappointment. And at that time I was 25, I was done with my studies, I was looking for a job, you know. But the fact that I wasn't married yet, it was such a big disappointment. And also looking at what Mpho was doing also, you know. Mpho was just starting with his singing career, you know, looking at what he was doing and, you know, how we were living our life. You know, people are judgmental and to be honest, I mean, what we did was wrong. Looking at what the Bible says, sex before marriage and is a sin and everything, right? So it was wrong. But you know, as young people, sometimes we are controlled by feelings and we just want to do this and that, you know. And then you realize that boom, when it's already too late. But
don't worry about that. I know all about it.
But at the end of the day, you know, a child is a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, a child, like, I don't know where I would be if I didn't have Ria. You know?
Yeah,
so
and
to
she's
me,
so beautiful.
so to me, you know, I don't regret. I don't regret anything at all. Even though I didn't do things right, I don't regret at all.
And now you've left us with the representation of Mpho, because she looks just like her father and she's so adorable. She looks just like her father.
You know, I always want people to tell me that she looks a little bit like me.
I'm not gonna lie.
It makes me angry every time. Sometimes I will even try to take pictures with her so that people will say, today she looks like you. But people always tell me she looks like Daddy. So I decided I'm just gonna keep it. And she has this one dimple, just like Mpho. I don't have dimples. Okay, Mpho used to see my dimples, but I don't know. I've never seen my dimples. So Mpho used to see them. He used to look at me. Do you know you have dimples? I think he was just seeing things in me. But Ria has one dimple like Mpho. So you know, I've already made peace with it. And I love it because when I look at her, she always reminds me of Mpho. Even the way she is so clever. She talks too much. Actually, she's just like Mpho, you know. So she's just my reminder, every time she's my reminder.
Yeah, and I know Mpho did a song, Realivua. I love that song. I totally love it. Yeah. Okay, but now I want us to talk about the day when everything happened. You had such a nice life, everything was going well. And as people, we never expect that death is coming today. There are no signs. We cannot really tell that today is the day, but it always happens and time catches up with us. So I want us to talk about the day when everything happened. So yeah, let's start from today.
Okay, let me start from a week before. We were home, and then Mpho's mom wasn't feeling well, so she was like, you know what, let me go back with you guys to Midrand, and then I'm just gonna take leave for the whole week. Then I'll be with you guys for the whole week. I'll be resting, then I'll go weekend. And then we're excited to have her around for the whole week,
Yeah.
And then at that time, I studied chemical engineering, and I finished in 2011. From there I wasn't getting a job. I got pregnant, and I gave birth. I wasn't getting a job at all. It was so difficult. And then around 2015, around March, that's when I got a learnership at Santam. Just imagine, not even a chemical engineering job. At Santam for claims, things like that. And then, but to me and Mpho, we were like, you know what, you've been looking for a job for a very long time and you're not getting anything. What if this is what you have to do? Let's just give it a try and let's see what's gonna happen. We decided, and we were like, you know what, let's try. And then a month before the accident that I'm still going to explain, that's when I got that learnership. That's when I started. So the time we went home and we came back with Mpho's mom, it was still the first month of me studying to work. I was, how it is when you're not even used to waking up in the morning, and it was still very tough. But we were so excited about having her around. So that week we were with her. And at that time, the next weekend that we were planning to take her home, we were going to attend the Fame Awards. Mpho was nominated for the Fame Awards. His first awards, we were so excited. We were so excited.
I can imagine.
So, okay, the whole week I was with them. Mpho was even working from home, They were spending, that's one thing that I don't understand. They were spending a lot of time together. They were always together. I'll be at work. After work, I'll go home. And then they'll be home. Maybe Mpho's mom will decide to cook. Or they will cook together. Sometimes when I get home, the food will be there. I'll just get home, relax and laugh with them, They were always together. And then Friday, before we went home, we decided we're gonna take the day off, me and Mpho, so that we can finalize the outfits for the event. So the whole day we were moving all over, We went to Southgate Mall, Sandton, everywhere. I was with Mpho, Mpho's mom. There's just the three of us. The whole day I was with them. And then in the evening, after getting everything, then we went home. You won't believe, sometimes when you're doing something, it's just that you never know. When we went home, Mpho and we decided to wear whatever we were going to wear for the awards. We didn't know we were wearing those clothes for the last time,
For the first and last time.
Yes. And then we decided to dress for each other in the room. And then Mpho saw what I was wearing. I looked at him. We're like, okay, fine. So we are ready for tomorrow, It's just that at that time, I didn't know we're not even going to see each other. We're not even going to wear the clothes. And then in the evening, then I think around 8, that's when we left Midrand. And then I think we passed by you see that garage before the first toll gate. We passed by there, we were buying meat. And then after that, I remember I was so tired. Remember, I was still getting used to this thing of waking and all that. So I was just tired. And then I told them, you know what, I'm going to sleep guys, I can't cope anymore. I'm gonna sleep. You guys, I know you'll be entertaining each other because Mpho and Mpho's mom used to talk. They used to make me laugh. Those two, they used to talk a lot. So I'll be like, you'll entertain each other, but I'm gonna sleep. And then I slept, and then I woke up from hospital. From there, I don't know what happened. I just know that I was just told that we were involved in a car accident whereby Mpho and Mpho's mom died on the spot. But even now, even today, I don't really know the right information because I hear this, I hear that, I hear this. So I just told myself that, okay, they passed away on that day. Yeah, that's what I was told. And then I was in a coma for 12 hours. And when my family arrived at the accident scene, the way I was swollen, the way I was big, my mother, my father couldn't even recognize me. After the accident, because I had these cuts and everything, I was big. They had to cut my hair, they had to cut my clothes, everything. They had to help each other to confirm if it's really me. My mother who gave birth to me couldn't even say this is my child. They had to help each other. And even the Gangashes also, they had to just and you can just imagine what was going through the Gangashes. Two of the Gangashes were there, gone. I was the only one still in a coma. And what do you think was going through everyone's mind? She won't make it, obviously. I mean, the other ones are gone already. She won't make it. But God God works in mysterious ways. I don't know. And then I was just told that I was taken to hospital. They had to there was possibility of brain damage, everything. They had to check me fast. And then when I arrived there, I was in a coma for 12 hours. And then it's like now I can see it,
It's okay. It's okay.
And then after that, I was told that I couldn't even walk. Okay, what I can tell you right now also is that the first 2 weeks I don't even remember them. Whatever I'm telling you right now, I don't know. I was told everything. I don't remember the first 2 weeks. Even the time I was told that Mpho and Mpho's mom passed away. I don't remember that. I just know that they decided to tell me Friday before the funeral because everyone was coming there to see me, and I was asking them, all of them, where's Mpho, because I couldn't understand. And all of them, they were lying to me, telling me he's in Lois Richard. And I will ask them, why is he in Lois Richard? Because the Mpho I know, the one I know, the one that I'm dating was going to be next to me if I was in this condition. But now if you're telling me he's in Lois Richard, I don't understand. So my twin brother is a sweet guy. The day I got an accident, he got a flight. I think the same time he was told I was in the accident, he was sitting next to my bed from the day I was admitted until I was discharged. So he was taking care of me, making sure that when people come to see me, they don't even take pictures that I will hate when I'm healing, So he was there. So my twin brother is the one who told me that Mpho passed away and Mpho's mom. And they said that I cried for an hour without talking to anyone. That's the only thing I did. I just cried for an hour without talking to anyone. And they said that after crying, my ward used to be so full. People used to come see me. And then after crying, then I told them that, what? I thank God because he saved me. I believe he saved me for real. Just imagine if Mpho's mom and me, if all of us were gone, who was going to take care of me? They said I just said that. And you can just imagine people who were asking themselves what's going through her mind and the same person that you're worried about is telling you something big.
Yeah.
You just crying. So they told me that I was such a, I don't know, I was in pain, but I was an
You were
encouraging
also strong.
person, strong. I will say things that will even shock them. So I believe God was in charge there.
Yeah,
I
God
believe
was
God
with
was, God was with me. God knew all this. You know, that's why I love that verse. For I know the plans that I have for you. I know, I love that verse because it's exactly what was happening to me. They said that I don't know, I used to tell people jokes and they will laugh there. Instead of crying, I will make them laugh, you know, things like that. So I believe God was in charge.
Yeah. So, but then during that phase where you're in the hospital, you're strong in everything because there are people around you. But then the moment you get out of hospital and you go home and you're alone and you now have to face life, what was that like for you?
That was the most difficult thing ever. That's when I went through depression. Because I remember I told you that I spent the whole week and the whole day before the accident with them. You know, when I went back home, I used to sit down, look at the walls, try to relive
every moment.
Yes. Trying to see the signs, trying to look at something that I missed maybe while I was with them the whole week, even that last day, but I couldn't find anything. And that used to make me so sad. It used to make me so angry. And remember, I told you that I was just starting a learnership. I'm not gonna lie to you, as I've already told you, I was doing so well. I was living a comfortable life. I was taking care of everything. I was looking for a job. But I used to have that support, you know. Mpho was so supportive. That's one thing that I used to love about him. He was so supportive. So I used to have that support. Even though I was looking for a job, but I used to have that support, and I used to know that one day I'll get my job and I'll be something. Because he used to remind me every day of that, you know. Even though it was, I don't know, my mind now is...
I know it's very difficult. You're now reliving all those moments.
Yes, you know, even though I was just starting something, you know, the fact that I had to go back and do everything myself alone. The fact that I was used to, I was used to doing things with Mpho. The fact that I was used to mid-run life with Mpho. The fact that I was used to going home to Venda to see Ria with Mpho. And now I was going to do everything alone. Now I will have to be a mother and father to Ria. She was only 2. It was difficult for me. I was like, what if Ria one day asked me this question? Mommy, you know, why is my life so difficult, or why am I not enjoying life because my daddy is not around, you know? That's one thing that I used to ask myself. How am I going to answer that question? Because I think that's one thing, it's my fear even now. Because I don't ever want Ria to come to me one day and say, Mommy, you know, if my daddy was still alive, I was gonna have it. I don't know, my life was gonna be so much better. That's why today I'm like this, I'm strong. I want her to look at me and say, you see my mom, I'm proud of her. Yes, my father was this big, you know, but my mom, she went through hell, but she survived. I'm proud of her, and I never suffered because she worked hard for me. You know, those are the things that I used to sit down and look at the walls and ask myself, and I'll be like, how am I going to move on? I will cry every single day. I'm not gonna lie. I think I cried for 2 years.
Yeah, I heard on your interview that you...
I used to cry every single day when I go to bed. I'll just think of Mpho, I'll just think of Ria, I'll just cry. Every single day. It was part of my life. And so going back home, facing everything, you know, led me to depression, and
That's quite hard.
it was difficult, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I remember of people used to come see me. But this other lady, Mrs. Bidane, she came to see me the other day. Okay, people used to, even pastors, they'll come pray for me, talk to me. You know, I never used to believe in seeing a psychologist. That's the first thing. I never used to also believe people who will just come and talk to me without even knowing what I'm going through. Yeah. I wanted to talk to someone who's been through what I was going through. So even if it's a pastor, I'll just look at them. They'll whatever, they'll say whatever. After that, they'll pray. I'll close my eyes. Then after that, then I'll go to my room. But I remember this lady who came. She was young. She came and then she was like, Londo, I'm here to see you. I come from Calvary, Wamondo, and then I just want to tell you that I've been through what you're going through. I lost my husband when I was still very young. You know, I looked at her and I was like, yeah, she's still very young. So when did this happen? And I looked at her like I saw this strong, beautiful woman. And then the moment she said, you know what, I've been through what you went through. I was like to God, I'm going to be like this woman. I don't know, something just told me that. I was like, I'm going to be like this woman. But that's when I was like, I'm gonna listen. At least she understands my pain, you know. Then she was like, yeah, I've been through what you went through, and then I have 3 things that I'm just gonna tell you that worked for me. Now I was listening, hey? I was like, now I'm going to listen because this is the person who's going to help me. And she was like, you know what? Right now, if you think you're friends, I don't know, you're wasting your time. The only person you need right now is God. You can only cry and, I don't know, tell God whatever. The pain, everything. You don't have to tell your friends. Your friends right now, remember, they have their own problems. They have their own lives. Yes, you got an accident, you lost Mpho, but they're moving on with life. You need to focus on God right now. And then she was like, you know what, I remember that verse, God is close to the brokenhearted. And then she was like, do you know you are so special right now to God? And then she was like, the angels are just waiting for you. You are in pain, in so much pain. Your heart is broken. Right now, they are just waiting for you to cry and say, God, I need your help. That's one thing that I took from her. Something very important that I took from her. She was like, right now, they are waiting for you to just cry and say, God, I need your help. I need you to help me. I need you to open, I don't know, to show me the light or whatever I need, you know. And then, but you can't do that without trusting and believing that God is going to do it for you. So she was like, I want you today to go and pray. And I want you to open your heart to trust. I know that you've been praying, you've been asking yourself, where's God and all that, because you were expecting God to, I don't know, to save Mpho and Mom. But God, I mean, it wasn't his plan. It wasn't his plan. But now, today, in pain like that, I want you to go and pray and open your heart and believe that God is going to do whatever you want him to do. And I want you to go and ask God whatever you want today, and he will do it for you if you believe. You know, I told myself, I listened to her and I didn't tell anyone. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. This is the person who knows what she's talking about. And she's been through what I'm going through. Then that day I went to my room. I told myself, you know what, today I'm going to open my heart. Yes, I've been saying, where's God, where's God? But today I'm going to talk to God. God is there. I saw God through her. So now God is going to
talk to you,
to talk to me and make things right. Yes, for me. Then I went to my room and I opened my heart. And then I was like, God, you said it in your Bible, where you are close to the broken hearted. My heart is broken. This is what I need, God. I want you to make me a better person. That's what I prayed for. I want you to help me be the best mother to Ria, to make sure that she never suffers. I want you to show me the light. I want to go back to that life that I was living with Mpho. I don't want to suffer. Yes, God, I was staying in Midrand. I want to go back to Midrand. I don't want to find myself staying maybe somewhere that I never wanted to stay, you know, just because of the situation. I want you to take, to, I don't know, to make things
the way they used to be.
Yes,
better.
exactly. And better. That's what I told God. And then I believed. I'm not gonna lie to you, Mukovhe. I think God, you know, if people can understand that every time when you pray, don't just pray. Open your heart, believe in what the Bible says. Read your Bible and understand what the Bible says. God, you know, God is always there waiting for us to just cry for Him. Within, I think, the second day, I had an answer for everything that I was praying for. That's when I started seeing the light. I had an answer for everything that I was praying for. Okay, this is how I'm going to make sure that your life is good. This is how I'm going to make sure that Rhea is well taken care of. This is how I'm going to make sure that you are going to be a better person. You know, everything was there. Right now, after that, I started seeing the light. But at that time, even after seeing the light, I had to deal with my emotions now.
Yeah.
I had to deal with the fact that Mpho is gone for good. He's not gonna come back. It was difficult, but you know, at least dealing with something, at least when you sing a little bit of light, you know?
Yeah, it's much better.
It's so much better. That's when I decided to start concentrating more on the Bible, on what the Bible says, and also to concentrate more on prayer, you know, and not depend on people. And yes, I had friends. I mean, sometimes as a person, sometimes you just want to talk to people. Yes, but that wasn't really important to me, because that's the other thing that Mrs. Pidane advised me on. She was like, you know what, depend on God. So I just decided to do that prayer, God, and to also concentrate on myself. And then that's when I started seeing the light of everything. And then I started dealing with my emotions.
So another thing that I saw from a newspaper article that you were interviewed in, you said it is important to stop asking yourself, why me? And I remember the day when I found out that Mpho had passed on. We were preparing to go to a wedding, and when I saw the message, I was like, no, I'm not going to focus on this, because I won't enjoy the wedding anymore. I was like, do I tell my parents? I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell my mom, because my mom really loved Mpho and everyone in the family loves Mpho, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to focus on this. It was so painful. And the question I kept on asking myself is, why Mpho? Why him? Why not somebody else? You know, because he had so much purpose and he was so gifted. And I feel like once you ask yourself that question, why me, or stuff like that, that's when you fall into a deeper depression, and that's when you don't even open your heart, because you now start feeling like God is victimizing you or God is mistreating you. So one thing that I liked about what you said is that do not victimize yourself or ask yourself, why me? Because if not you, then who?
Exactly.
You know,
if you concentrate on that, you end up even losing yourself. You know, you end up you will never get an answer. You know why it happened to you. Maybe it will. The answer will come, but it might come maybe after 5 years. So does it mean that all those 5 years before you get an answer, you'll be asking yourself, why me? Why me? Why me? Depressing yourself. It's not important. The important thing is just to be assured that, you know, God is there. You know, whatever you're going through, it doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It doesn't mean that you're not important to God. It doesn't mean that you are a nobody. No, God wanted it to happen that way, and He will make things right for you only if you believe in Him and trust in Him.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, the word of God says that a man may plan, but the outcome is determined by God. And I feel like we may plan our lives, we're like, oh, we're gonna live together, we're gonna do this, but that was not the will of God. The will of God was for you to do what you're doing now, which brings me to this amazing book. She wrote a book, My Scars, My Testimony. This book, I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of testimonies from this book, and I didn't want to read it because I'm writing tests. I was like, if I touch this book, I will not study. So I'm going to read it later on, and I will give a review about it. So I want you to tell us about writing the book. How does writing the book come into play?
Where did it start? It wasn't even part of my plan, you know. That's why I always say this is my purpose, even though I had to find my purpose from a painful experience, but this is my purpose. I remember I was at work, and then there was like the time I was so depressed, I'll go to work, sometimes I'll be so moody, I used to see a doctor who used to give me depression pills, who used to give me anxiety pills, happy pills. Sometimes when I'm just feeling sad, I'll just drink those pills and they will change my mood now, I remember the other day I went to work, I was so down. Sometimes I used to be so down in the morning, and then I'll just be thinking of Mpho. And then I remember I was so down, and then when I arrived at work, I think people were just asking me questions and they were depressing me more. I just started crying. I remember, because everyone knows what happened to me. The whole office started crying. Everyone was crying. They were like, we look at you, we see you smiling a lot of times. We don't understand how you're surviving all this pain, because we always ask ourselves, if it was me who lost my, was I gonna be strong like Londo? We don't understand. So a lot of people cried there, and then they even ended up saying, just go to the car and cry, and then after they'd go home. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna go to the car and cry, because I'm feeling pain, even though it's after, and mind you, it was after I think 3 years now. Yeah. And then I was like, even though I'm going to cry, and then a friend of mine, her name is Beatrice. She's my best friend. We met where I'm working at work, and then she was like, you know what? Today you made me cry. She doesn't cry. She's not that kind of person who just cry about anything. She was like, today you made me cry. So I'm tired of you making us cry here. I'm tired of you making us feel this pain. I'm going to book an appointment for you by force. You're going to see a psychologist. Then I was like, you know what? That psychologist that you were referring me to, it's not like he knows what I'm going through. I don't talk to people who hasn't been through what I'm going through. Then she was like, I don't care. I just want you to talk to someone who's professional. Maybe that someone will say something that will help you. And then I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll just go to make you happy. I was just tired of fighting with her. Then she booked an appointment, and then the next day I went there. Then when I went there, I met the psychologist, and he was male. Then he encouraged me to just write down all my good memories and my bad memories. Then he was like, well, you can just go home, write everything, and then we'll discuss tomorrow. Then I went home, I started writing my good memories and then my bad memories. And then the next day, I went back, and then we started discussing my good memories. I realized that there's a lot actually to even think of and be happy about. There's a lot of good memories that I haven't been thinking about. I've been focusing on the bad things only. Then I started smiling with him. He was so happy. He was like, wow, big progress in just one day, and the progress is this good. And then the bad memories, it was just something that I've been dealing with for a very long time, the accident and everything, and then he was like, you know what, I think you and me won't have another session. This is the last session, but if you experience more problems, you can come back. And I'm just gonna encourage you to just go write down everything, how you're feeling and everything. That's when I went back. Then I was like, you know what, I think I have a lot that I haven't been thinking of, something that makes me smile, like my memories with Mpho. I think I need to go back and just think about everything. That's when I went back home and I started writing from the day I met Mpho. And from there, I couldn't even stop. Because from there, that's when I was like, you know what? If I'm writing from the day I met Mpho, obviously I'll get to the day I lost him. And then even the miracles and everything. And I used to sit down and ask myself, what is it that's not making me happy now? And I was like, I think the fact that God is doing a lot for me, but I'm not sharing it with the whole world. Everyone knows about my accident, but they don't know where I am right now. And things are so much better, and I'm seeing God every day. And I didn't have that peace, you know. So I was like, you know what, let me just write this book and see, let me just write down everything and see where I will end, you know. That's when there was this other lady, the one who wrote my book, Liphadzi. She wanted to write a book at first about Mpho, but I don't think that was God's plan, you know. It didn't work out. We had some challenges, but it didn't work out. Then after I wrote everything down, that's when I called her. I was like, you know what, I think I just wrote a book. Then she was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. I think the time you wanted to write a book about Mpho, it wasn't gonna work out. God didn't want it to be like that. God wanted me to share my story. Yes, my story also involves Mpho, but it's all about my testimony that I need to share with the world. Then she was so excited. Then I was like, you know what, I was writing everything down at work. I think I have 2 diaries that are full. I'm gonna give you, then you can write the book. I gave it to her. You know, we started meeting. She wrote, like, first chapter, I was like, you know what, I'm writing this book. Actually, this is beautiful. She wrote, she changed the way I wrote everything, because to me it was like me explaining to you, you know. But you know, writers,
they know how to
put everything. And then she decided to put it very well, and I was like, you know what, let's write this book. My story is there. Just, you know, come up with a good book. And then she did that. She came up with a beautiful book. Now the problem was releasing the book, and also the title of the book. It was so difficult to get the title. I was like, what am I going to call this book, you know? Like, I don't know. But then when my designer was designing the cover, I wanted my cover to have my picture showing my scars. So I was like, you know what, I want the title to complement the picture. So I want people to look at the picture and also read the title and ask themselves, what is it that's in that book? What is it? I mean, you can see the scars. So there's a testimony behind those scars. I want to read what that testimony is, you know. So this other day we were driving from work with my friend, and then I was like, you know what, I think I know what I'm going to call this book. My scars, my testimony. Then from that day, I was so excited. I was like, and with me, there's something that happens with me. You know, if I want something and I'm struggling for a very long time, and I come up with something and it's right, I don't even think about it twice. If it's right, I feel it and it's done. Then I was like, that's my testimony. I looked at the picture, I looked at I was like, this is going to be, it's perfect, it's exactly what I wanted. And then that's when I told she was so excited also. But now, the challenge, releasing the book. Londo was she's still shy, but she's better now. She was a shy girl, She couldn't even sit like this, talk to people, She was always hiding behind, you know. Yes, she was dating a celeb, but you couldn't even see. No! I never noticed you. Yes, you were not gonna, you know. So, I think I was hiding behind him. I can say at that time, God wanted me to do whatever I was doing behind the scenes, you know. That was my purpose that time. So I always tell people that I believe the time I was in a coma, that 12 hours, a new creation was
being made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this is not the old Londo. To be honest, the old Londo wasn't even going to sit here and explain all this like this, you know. The old Londo wasn't going to stand in front of people and talk like that. All these events. Londo wasn't even going to publish the book now. But it was still a challenge. I had to you know,
to fight through
to fight that. But God was like, you know what? I'll show you that you're on the right track. And then I remember the same friend. I believe God brought her into my life for also this purpose also, because she's the one who booked an appointment. I went there. I started writing the book. Then now I'm at home. The other day she sent me this other picture from Instagram. It was a post of this lady, FM, and then that lady wanted people to share their stories. Then she was like, the title is Beautiful Me, I Am My Scar. Then she was like, Londo, look at this. And then, you know, I was so angry. I was like, why is she sending me this? She knows I don't like writing. I don't like this public thing. And now she wants me to write this story. And in that competition, whoever was going to win was going to win lunch with that DJ. And I was like, I can buy lunch for myself. Why do I have to share my story? Why do I have to write all this and go and have lunch with this Likwala FM lady? No, I don't want to, you know. But then something happened to me. I was so sleepy. I remember I was watching TV, but I was so sleepy. And then when it was time to go to bed, something told me, write your story and send to that lady. I couldn't understand because I was so sleepy. I was so tired. Something was telling me, write your story and send to that lady. I took my phone. I remember I even took my phone. I wrote that email. I started writing, sharing my story. You know, even in the beginning of my story, I even wrote that I'm not writing this to win something. This is about me sharing my story. I just want this story to help someone out there. You know, that's what I wrote. And then the next day, I didn't even tell my friend that I sent the story because I couldn't understand what was happening also. Then on Wednesday, then the lady called me. Then she was like, "You are the winner. And, your story is the most touching one." And then I was like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah, you are the winner. So when are you gonna come for lunch?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't drive to Alsbie just for lunch." And then she was like, "Okay, no problem. I'm gonna call you tomorrow, and then you can tell people your story, and then we will tell them that you are the winner." Then I was like, then something told me that I should tell that lady about the book that I'm writing. Then I told her, you know what? I'm writing a book. My scars, my testimony. I want to publish it, but I'm scared to go out there. You know, after the accident, people were talking about me, and it's been so quiet. I've been enjoying myself. I isolated myself. I had to find myself again and all that. But now I'm gonna go back because of the book, because of everything that I've written down. So many people don't even know what I'm going to share with them. It's my story, it's my life. Then she was like, no, you must share your story. I was like, I'm not sure. Then she was like, you know what, tomorrow when I call you, tell people that you are the winner. When you tell them your story, you will even tell them about your book. Then I called Liphadzi. Then I told her. Then Liphadzi was like, you can't tell people about your book on radio first time. You need to post it on social media. And I was like, I'm not ready. I can't. It was too difficult. She was like, no, you need to. I remember I went back home. I couldn't. I think I posted the cover around 9 o'clock. I even switched off my data. I don't switch off my data, but that day I switched off my data. I was like, I don't want to see anything. Then I posted. Then I told people that I'll be on the Kwala FM, whatever, sharing my story. And then in the morning, people were so excited. I was so touched. I was like, wow, people really want to hear my story. I'm just scared because I don't want people to talk about me, but I think it's time I do this, you know. And then the next day, then the Likwala FM lady called me, interviewed me. I remember I even went to the car. Everyone was listening to me in the office. My friend, she made sure that everyone was. She's just like that. She was like, now it's time to listen to Londo. You know, the lady, I understand Zulu and, you know, but she was interviewing me in Swati. I don't understand Swati. But the way God works, ne? That day she was interviewing, asking me questions in Swati. You know, I could understand everything. I answered everything. You know, when I went back to the office, everyone was angry with me. They were like, we always try to use our language with you, but you don't understand. You want us to use English all the time. We are tired. They were so angry. You think we are fools? And you know what? I just looked at all of them and I was like, guys, I don't understand also. It's God. They were like, yo? I was like, to be honest, I don't understand also. I don't even, if you can ask me one question that she asked me now in Swati, I don't think I'll be able to even understand what she was saying. But Mina, I could understand everything. How? I don't know. But what I know is that God is in charge. That's when I told myself, it's time. That's when I saw God was, you know, everywhere I go, church, they'll be preaching, trying to push in that direction. Every time. Then I was like, no, I think I'm running away from something that God wanted me to do. And that's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to decide on the launch date. I'm going to publish this book. That's when I decided and I published the book.
That's so beautiful. I think it reminds me of the example that Three Jakes gave about the eaglet, that the mother eagle will let the eaglet fall and then go down and catch the eagle. It's like, you're not ready. Like, man, I'm not ready. But then God just keeps pushing you in that direction. Which is very beautiful because it also leads us to purpose. I feel like this whole experience has led you to your purpose. Today you tell your story and you help other people heal. So how important is it that when you're going through a challenge, you learn to discover your purpose from that challenge? I mean, sometimes we face challenges and then we just focus on the challenge, but sometimes you also need to draw the purpose of the challenge. How important is it to draw purpose?
I think when it comes to that, you're not the one to decide that, you know. That's why I was saying that, you know, if you believe, you trust, and you stop asking yourself why it happened to me, that's when God will work through whatever happened, you know. So if you just continue believing in God, praying, trusting in God, that's when you will, with time, that's when you will realize that actually there's a reason why this happened. And it is so important because just imagine after going through something like what I went through, and then you, after 2 years or 3 years, you find yourself helping a lot of people who are even going through worse. They can't talk to you. You look at their situation, you look at your situation, you even tell them that you will call them back. You cry first because of whatever they told you, and then you go back to them, you share your experience because you know, hey, you've been there. Just imagine. So to me, I believe it's important because that's where you find happiness, that's where you find more healing, that's where you, to be honest, yes, you grow. You know, if there's one thing that makes me happy, it's when I get a call from someone and that person says, Londo, can I talk to you? I have a problem. You know, even if I'm busy, I give people time. To me, it's important. Even if I don't have airtime or whatever, I will make sure that I get airtime. You know, I even call people. I will call them. They will tell me their stories, and I'll be there for them. It makes me happy, and to me, I don't feel, even if I'm the one who bought the airtime and I use a lot of it, to me it's never lose. Yes, it's not a loss. To me, it's a gain. That's when I learn more. That's when I get this fulfillment, you know. That's where I get my happiness, and that's where I see where I'm going. And as you have said, like I'm growing every day because of all this.
Okay. So, closing off this interview, what would you advise someone out there who is going through the same thing or something similar?
Yeah. Where do I start? I know that when something painful like what happened to me happens, you ask yourself so many questions like, where was God when all this was happening? Is there even God? You know, you ask yourself so many stupid questions that you don't even have to ask yourself. And sometimes you even look at your life and ask yourself, was I doing wrong things? Was I doing something wrong? Was I hurting someone? You even look at the people that are close to you. Were you doing something wrong to someone? Am I paying for my sins? You know, things like that. But what I can advise someone who's going through whatever I went through is that first thing, please don't kill yourself by asking yourself questions of, did I do something wrong? Sometimes when something like this happens to you, like it's not even about you. Sometimes it's about someone. Someone who's still young, maybe. Someone who's maybe 10 years old. Someone who will come to you one day and say, Londo, I had this and this, you went through this. And I don't think or I am strong enough to make it. What is it that you did? You know, do you do anything special? You know, sometimes you are going through that for someone who's still even young, for you to help someone. So when you're going through challenges like this, don't kill yourself by blaming yourself, by asking yourself if you did something wrong, by asking God why it happened, by saying God is not there. No. Sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes it's about a lot of people like me. Unfortunately, it was a painful experience, but that's where I found my purpose. Today I'm helping a lot of people. It's what makes me happy. So the important thing is to always know that there's God, no matter what happens. It doesn't matter whether, you know, even if you can lose your whole family and you're left alone, God knows, for I know the plans I have for you. I mean, I never imagined myself Londo, a quiet girl who was behind the scenes all the time. People didn't even know Londo, you know. Some they used to just know there's Mary and all that, you know. I never imagined myself today someone being excited because they're going to meet Londo. I never imagined someone saying Londo is a, you know, I always love when people say, oh, celeb, who's a celeb? You know, things like that. I never imagined that, but I had to go through this painful experience for me to be who I am. But it wasn't just that. It happened to me, and I didn't give up on God. I didn't give up on life. I decided to concentrate on God. Prayer, I trusted on the Bible, and I believed that God was going to turn my life around. And then today I'm a better person, and I'm helping a lot of people. So just trust in God. That's all. Trust in God, and just know that, you know, that verse, for I know the plans I have for you. God knows everything, eh? God knows everything that's happening to you, and He knows what will happen tomorrow. As long as you continue believing and trusting Him, even in painful experiences. That's all.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Did you ever imagine one day someone would pray to have you?
Yeah! You know, it's something that really, really humbled me. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave whatever. Even if I have something, I'm gonna leave that day for her. She prayed for me. I mean, whoever thought someone will ever pray for Londolani to just come in, you know? You know, nowadays Londolani Miaria is a big name.
Yeah.
So all thanks to God, even though it was after such a painful experience. But all thanks to God, you know.
Yeah. So this is her book. my scars, my testimony. I'm going to read it and I'll give a review about it. I feel like I'm gonna start it today.
You need to study.
But I need to study. I'll see how to work around it. 1 chapter per day. Yeah, so thank you so much guys for watching, and yeah, I've got a gift for you actually, just to say thank you.
Londolani. You see my winter.